Okay, we're back. Well, we have some team sheets, so we're going to quickly go through. Johnny's going to pick one very interesting list that he likes the look of, and we're going to go with that and see who we get up first on the camera. They're just setting up. We should be ready to go very soon. They're being briefed, so we are ready for our Dice Masters 2017 Regionals, part of the WizKids Open. What interesting, if you're in the chat on Twitch or even on Facebook, what interesting lists would you like to see today? What are you expecting to see Bard come into play much? Are we going to see much Professor Xavier? I don't know. I mean, I know that Xavier's a very popular card.
Very nice card for ramping up and just churning for your bad a lot quicker than you may do otherwise. So very good. People try and side against, or not side against it, they try and tech against it. So it is very interesting trying to play the Professor X game with an opponent who knows what they're doing. On the list, we've got quite a few Lantern Ring lists, actually. I'm almost surprised by the amount.
A lot of Lantern lists?
Yeah, or Lantern Ring.
Lantern Ring.
So let's go into a bit more detail. So the Lantern Ring, it is the rare Lantern Ring, and what it does is when your characters attack, they immediately do 1 damage for every energy of their type that is in your reserve pool. And I believe we have the first round matchups now, so we'll see who we have playing.
We've got Daniel Campbell, who's got the bye.
Yeah.
Table 1, we got Ben Scott and Phil Hanley. We got Mr. Joseph Kingsley Naya and Charlotte Robertson on table 2. Table 3 is Gareth Thomas and Susan Bator.
Yes. Let's just have a look through the lists. I believe a fun first game may be that last one, Gareth Thompson versus Susan.
Yep.
So Susan is one of our.
I want to mark that off on my just ticket.
Susan is one of our local players, and Gareth is someone who I believe has travelled down. So good mix of local and otherwise playing today. So
having Susan on the table today. Susan is a regular here.
Yes, definitely a regular.
A very good personality as well. She's a lovely person.
Yeah, definitely fun. Always fun to play with, and always has a good attitude to the game. So hopefully we'll see a good game between these two. So Gareth has a Lantern Ring list, as I was saying. It looks like a masked variant of a Lantern Ring list. So we'll see. As long as he gets lots of masks in his reserve pool, he'll be able to deal a lot of damage when attacking.
All right.
Susan has a very interesting list. It does have the Bard on it, which I was mentioning before. So that Bard tends to win through to do a lot of damage. But it also has a card which has fallen a bit out of favour, which is a Black Widow card, Sarvina.
All right.
Which is a very ad-oriented card. Will often do damage when it attacks. I believe when it attacks it does 2 damage unless your opponent can spin down a dice and chooses to spin down that dice. So it comes out fast, comes out and hits hard. And then it's got the bar to match up. But also some very interesting tech cards which I hope we'll be able to see later on. But
this is going to be an interesting match. So we have got some cards here. So we got a Gorilla Grodd. So let's go through the actual teams in full detail here. So on Gareth Thomas's, we have Electra, Electra, Way of the Stick, Elf Thief, Lesser Harper, is that it?
Yes.
Parallax, Source Terror, is that the same one we saw on
yes,
Thursday?
Or it's going to have a global. I imagine it's not going to be used for much else.
Mr. Fantastic, the Invincible Man. Is it Invincible or Invisible? It's
Invincible.
Yes.
And often Mr. Fantastic is invisible most of the time.
No, that's his wife's thing. That's his wife's thing. Professor X, recruiting young mutants. Again, we saw that on Thursday. Very good ability going on there.
Very big ramp.
Lantern Ring, limited only by a lantern.
Imagination.
Multiple Man, that's going to be fun.
Yes.
Pylon, and Constantine Hellblazer. Yes. I believe Constantine is indeed a card that we are offering as a promo today.
Yes, we are seeing a different card as a promo, but that is the Super Rare Constantine, which is a very nice control piece.
And the basic actions are Bunk,
Blink, Transmutation, and End of Days.
End of Days, nice. And Susan Bator's list. Well, let's start with the actions this time. We've got Heroic Defense and Fighting.
Two actually rarely seen basic actions. I think I'd like to check what they do before I do a definitive answer on them, but yeah, it's not often we see those basic actions, so...
We've got Gorilla Grodd, Force of Mind. So we're seeing a DC theme immediately come out here.
Not so much of an next few.
No, but starting off, we've got a DC film. We've got Manticore, Lesser Beast. Hellhound, Apprentice Thief. Clay Golem, Lesser... Sorry? Fiend. Yes.
Fiend.
Fiend. Did I say friend?
You said thief.
Fiend. Clay Golem, Lesser Construct. Dwarf Wizard, Paragon, Zentarum, Half-Elf Bard, Master Lord Alliance, Elf Thief, Lesser Harper, and Black Widow Tessaria.
Sarvina.
There we go. So we've got quite an array of cards going on here.
I'm enjoying seeing some of the new cards. So these have a couple of sets which were kind of a couple of very new cards in Dash lists. The Electro, I believe, is a new one from the Deadpool set, as is the Multiple Man. The Multiple Man's a very interesting card because usually in Dice Masters you have a max dice of 4, sometimes 3 or 1. That Multiple Man has a max dice of 6. So you can bin lots of them out, and he swarms. So
Well, it makes perfect sense, really.
yeah, very thematic for a character, which is one of the nice things about Dice Masters. They tend to keep it with the characters they choose. They try and keep it thematic.
Well, I think with any game with the thematic, you have to kind of go with that idea.
Yes,
Otherwise, it's you kind of have the themes just slapped on there. But it's no surprise that the Multiple Man is in there, and he is using all 6 dice. No surprise there at all, since, why wouldn't you? If you have the option to run 6, run 6.
Especially with a Multiple Man. So he has Swarm, like I was saying. Swarm, if you have one on the field and you draw one, you can draw an extra dice. So if you draw 5 of them, you draw 5 extra dice, you have a huge roll that turn. It's a very nice card to see, and a very interesting card. Will be my first time seeing it played.
So Heroic Defense, this is one of Susan's card. Your characters gain +1 attack and +1 defense for each of your characters' dice KO'd this turn. Gain life equal to that dice level.
Yes, so we have a nice mix of offense and defense, so you gain a bit of strength when attacking through, so it's harder for your opponent to deal with, and if they do deal with them, then you gain the life back, so it could be vital, as both these teams seem to be based around almost pin damage. We may not see a big one-hit KO like we saw the other time. Lantern does have a potential, but it needs some good rolls. Susan's list will definitely be looking for a slow grinding down of the opponent's life.
Yeah, it's more kind of a poke to death kind of thing going on here. And fighting basic action. For each of your characters' dice KO this turn, during the attack step this turn, your opponent must KO one of their character dice. So it's
then punishing your opponent for KOing your dice. So
and both revolve around getting your dice KO'd in some regard, or give you benefits for getting your dice KO'd. So we might even see some self-KOing mechanics in there, maybe.
I don't believe in that list. Main self-KO mechanic I'm thinking of is a Blue Eyes White Dragon card with a global, which allows you to do it, but neither list been in that today. But
No, neither list has that in there today, and they are just getting set up. So let's go to the overhead camera, which I'm going to quickly adjust here. Yep, there we go. So as you can see, Susan is now setting up her cards. We have Gareth, who's already set up his, and the game is ready to begin in earnest. And I'm going to start the timer, being very generous with the with the time, since we don't know when the time has actually been called. I'm going to assume that time is being allotted now. But yeah, let's get this set up.
Yeah.
Our overlay is being set up right now. So, what are you expecting strategy-wise from both these lists?
Susan will probably be throwing out quite hard, lots of early attacks. Like I said, Denver Sarmin is out, getting the Manticore out after that, as the Manticore then will deal damage just when it attacks without having to worry about anything else. Possibly see some Elf-Thief action from both sides, because Persevet has been brought, so we're just having a head judge come in for the day.
Thank you very much. Is it Thomason?
Yeah,
Thomason, okay.
or is it Thompson?
Well,
Thomason, yeah, Thomason.
Well, on Gareth's side, we'll see him probably try and build up for a bit of swing, try and Professor X as much as he can in the early turns to build up his dice.
Has the time started?
Not yet.
Okay.
They're currently all setting up, ready to go. Basically, I've explained to them that simple finger point or raising to the camera for global abilities, and make sure you're indicating what dice and what targets.
Thank you. Let us know when the timer starts, would you please? Thank you.
Like we heard, we're trying to get good practice on the stream so we can follow the action along with you and so we can tell what's going on. Yes.
This is only our first time using our brand new swanky overlay, which we are now going to pull up on screen for your convenience now. And bada bing, there we go, and as well as our lovely faces.
Because in the corner there, unfortunately.
You're the expert, I'm just here to look pretty much of the time.
You're here to help commentate, which I'm very grateful for. There are some interesting cards. We do actually have something I missed on Suzanne's team, so we have the Clay Golem, which does have an ability to KO her own dice.
Well, there you go.
So Clay Golem has a Fabricate ability. You KO 2 characters with purchase cost equal to or more of 4 in total, and you buy that Clay Golem dice for free. So it's a big character that can come into your bag and is KOing 2 of your own things to use the den next turn.
It's worth noting that Susan's actually using her own playmat, which is the Siege of Faerun playmat, and there's a dice roll there. Timer has indeed now started, so let's get the timer going there. And we've got 50 minutes on the clock as the round begins. Who is opting to go first?
I believe we see Gareth going first, as he has put the one side to the side. With the rules update, you only get 3 side hits on your first turn if you're going first. There's a slowdown, and especially to hits for Professor X teams, it makes it a lot harder for them to out on those first turns.
It does mean that he won't be able to attack this turn, but of course that's the standard rule. That's the downside of going first.
Yes.
So there goes 3 dice. It looks like we have energy,
Shield,
2
shield,
shields,
mask.
and a mask.
You'd like to see that masked shield, unless he goes to Constantine, not so much. His list is looking for a lot of masks, so he'll probably be rolling.
Yeah, he rolls 1, and he
Question mark.
Question mark. So
he'll
he
be
has
happy
his
with
choice there. He's got a choice. We're probably going to see a dice. He's using them, and he's bought a dice.
One elf thief.
One elf thief.
So that elf thief will be looking to try and lock down Suzanne's use of the Professor X global in his turns. She won't be able to save the energy to use it, so we may see a very similar play from Suzanne here if she chooses to go for same thing, or she may do more aggressive off the Sarvinas. So, which I believe is what she's choosing. She got 2 fists and 2 of energy. That is 2 Sarvinas, nice and quick.
Right in there, no question about it. 2 dice purchased. That's going to be effective because she's going to get that probably in the next couple of turns.
Yes.
With a bit of luck on her side, of course.
Yeah, I think she'll be hoping to Professor X maybe next turn get some of her sighted dice out of the bag when it resets, just so she can find those Sarvinas quicker. Especially if she can get them before the opponent really has a chance to field counters, Sarvina can do a lot of damage early.
Right, so here we go. That's a lot of shields there.
That's a lot of evils there.
Yep, there we
So
go.
there'll be
Putting
many
it all
masks.
in there, getting it out of the way. We've got 2 shields, a question mark, and a fist in
And
there.
a sighted counter dice as well. So the sighted, maybe feel it just to
Start getting your forces up, I would say.
start in a defensive wall at least against Suzanne's team, though. A lot of it's going to be direct damage, so it may not be a bit of spin.
But it's something. That's why I
Yes.
think it's. If you can shove a little bit through
We are
here.
seeing a Parallax Global, so a Parallax Global, you pay 1, reroll as many dice as you like from your field zone or reserve pool. He's desperately looking for those master to death. He's still
falling
unfortunately not
short.
finding any.
Falling short of that mark.
He's looking for those masters, not only to buy his characters, but to keep Professor X and to keep that momentum going. So, but we are seeing a purchase. This looks like a Constantine purchase, trying to control the board a bit. So, rare to see a Constantine in a mastering list like this. But it is a very strong control card and one of the strongest out there. It can just blank a
Yeah. While Constantine is active before your opponent's clear and draw step, you may name a character. If that character is fielded this turn, ignore its text until the end, and it cannot attack this turn. That could be highly effective, but no dice because it's all just standard psychic dice this time.
Yeah.
And here we go. We got a mask, a question mark, 2 masks,
question mark and a bolt.
and a bolt.
That may not be best. You may go for some Professor X action or an Elf Thief, like I said. I'd almost recommend her to go for Professor X because it is very nice. She uses a question mark on another Sarvina.
If you excuse me, viewers, I'm actually going to go and edit our lighting so we can actually see what the cards are down here in the corner.
Yes, I'll try and keep you entertained in the meantime. We do indeed see the Professor X from Susan. I'll give her a lot more dice to roll next turn, and will give her a lot higher chance of finding those Sarvina dice. Also means that Darth won't be able to steal any dice if he rolls his Elf Thief next turn, which is also quite likely to happen. So we see the first bad reset of the game, and we'll see what Darth manages to draw from this. It's likely to have at least 1 character in it, but not guaranteed. We see the Elf Thief, and we just see the Elf Thief, so that's not may just be used for Master's turn, as Suzanne has no dice to steal, so you may want to try and keep it in circulation rather than get stuck out in the field.
That's much better. There we go.
It fits the lighting a bit there. A lot of question marks and masks from Darth there, which you'll like, though the rest of the energy isn't looking the best. He is indeed rolling that Elf Thief, probably looking for energy this turn, just to try and keep it in circulation.
Well, he gets another character face on that one. In fact, a lot of sidekicks as well. Look at all those. Wow.
Imagine the sidekicks will either be power-laxed away or may just stay in the field zone to try and block the Sarvinas.
He's fielding the actual
Elf
Thief, which is... I don't know if that's a bad decision really to do that.
If it's rolled up character anyway, and if he's not planning to power-lax, he might
Might as well.
At this point, he can attack through anyway, get it back in the bag, do a couple of points of damage.
Yeah. Elf Thief, Lesser Harper. Is it Lesser Harper?
Yes, it is Lesser
Yes.
Harper.
If you have energy in your reserve pool, you may field Elf Thief for free.
Nice, because all the faces on Elf Thief usually have a 1 fielding cost, so that ability will usually get it in for free, which is a lot nicer.
But he has got his choice here, what he's going to use those question marks on.
Yes.
Oh dear. He's thinking about it. You're not sure what he's going to do at this point.
I believe he's just...
He's passing turn.
He's finishing past turn. I believe he's still debating whether to attack. He's
He's
attack
going to
with the Elf
attack, yeah. She's got nothing there to defend, so she's going to take a damage and go down.
Thief. 3 damage. It was a max level Elf Thief.
Ouch, that's going to be painful.
Yeah.
Of course, as we can see, it can swing very easily in this game.
20 life is not much,
Nope.
unfortunately.
And as you like to say, life is a resource.
Life is definitely a resource. That's one of the main tips I'd have to anyone who's looking to get better at this game, or who's just started. Life is your main resource.
Looks like we've got a couple of character faces
We've got
there.
2 Sarvina dice there, hopefully on their character faces, though unfortunately with our setup it's hard to see. Almost forgot to roll the dice from Professor X last turn, but she remembered to in the end. So she'll be looking to get those Sarvinas on character faces, getting them attacked in. Gareth has no dice he's able to spin down, so those Sarvinas will automatically do 2 damage if they manage to attack. Plus any damage they may do by Gareth letting them through. So
When Black Widow attacks, she deals 2 damage to your opponent. Your opponent can prevent this by spinning one of her character die on 1 level. That could be a great thing, if to get to basically debuff one of his own characters, especially with 2 of them.
Yes.
It's going to work very effectively.
it's also her main method of just pinning damage through, getting early damage on, getting early momentum on, so he finds it harder to let the character through later.
Because most of the time your lower levels have lower attack and defense skills, so you can probably push something through if you do that.
We see both the Sarvinas dead and fielded. There's one.
Not surprised.
One
there.
class of one of them is max level. We can see there. So one of them has 3 attack. The other one has 2 and some amount of defense, which unfortunately we can't tell from here. But we'll have to see what she decides to do with her energy. It's an interesting mix.
She is definitely thinking, is she probably saving some global abilities? What global abilities are in play? What do we have?
We actually have quite a few in this. So we have the Professor X, which we've already seen a lot, which gets you 2-sided dice out of your use pile into the prep area. Helps your ramp, so you get to roll more dice next turn. Helps you not ever sided die into your bad so much. We do see Suzanne buy a Manticore dice. Manticore has a similar ability. I believe it just deals 1 damage whenever it attacks.
And she's attacking with her 2 Black Widows. That's a curious choice there, especially when there's no characters in play.
I'd support that. Her list is about this early aggro, so
True.
he's going to have to take the 4 damage from their effects, plus potentially 5 more if he lets them through, or he'll lose the side hits, and the Sarvinas will either be ready to attack again next turn, or be KO'd and be rolled again next turn. So not really a good option when you face with Sarvina often, which is one of the hard things about playing against it.
She's got 1 more dice to buy from the Black Widow Sarina as well.
Yes.
So she can keep the aggro going up. At that point she can start bolstering her other forces to bring in for an attack force.
If we're just checking a rule and question on the Blink Transmutation blow, which I'll go through next, the global on that is you pay a mast and you send one of your opponent characters back from the attack zone to the field zone. So it's very good to stop, or both to stop your opponent getting through damage on attacks and also to bring back your characters which you want to see attack again next turn. So in this case, I'd almost like to see Suzanne blink back one of her Sarvinas, as it would allow her to do the direct damage again next turn, keep attacking with it, and just keep getting that damage through.
Okay, I'm going to quickly do something here. I'm going to see if I can try and get this up for you people, because it'd be nice if you guys can actually see what we're using. Retrobox to assist us in, especially for someone like me who doesn't really know much about the game, to provide a better experience. Here we go. Screen.
Hopefully we'll be able to show you this.
Hello.
When attacks effects go off before the blink goes off.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, just
That's
checking.
what I ruled.
Yeah.
Because Dan hopefully did well about it. So.
Yeah, that is right. So
Yeah, basically.
We see-
there was a ruling on Serena. And
Yeah.
I ruled it.
Yep, Gareth takes a lot of damage there. So he's down to 14. I believe he blocked 1 additional Sarvino with a Psychic, which sent it back to the field zone, and the other one has gone to the use bar as it went straight through. So we see a big chunk of early damage there from Suzanne, then sits straight quick damage in, which we'll hopefully update on our overlay once Elliot is ready with his additional resource.
Damage in?
Yes, Gareth took 6 damage.
Ouch.
So he took 4 from both Sarvinas, and he let the low level one through for another 2 damage.
Oh, that's be 14 now. And he's just bought another dice, I believe, there.
Yes.
Alright. That brings the put up to 3 purchase dice. I think even Susan
is on 4.
4.
She's bought 3 Sarvinas and the Manticore, which has another similar ability, so...
As we can see, it's gone very differently for good old Gareth at this point, because he's now lost a total of 6 points in one fell swoop. Double the damage that was given to Susan earlier on. Maybe if he hung back, he could have waited for a much more pressing attack. But I guess he wanted to get in there early. And
Yeah, you mostly want the Elf Thief cycling through, because it's a controlling card. It stops your opponent saving energy for your turn. Just they're scared that you'll just steal it and use it yourself. So it can be a big swing, even if you just steal 1 energy. That stops your opponent from using the global. It allows you to get in some damage. We see a Constantine and the Elf Thief being molded. The Elf Thief has been left on energy, because again, Suzanne has no energy to steal, but 2 master energy is still good. We are seeing a Palace Global to reroll the Constantine. I'm guessing he's trying to get a character face on there, but not seeing it. He wants to be able to feel that Constantine, stop her fielding more Sarvinas. He gets an attack face. So
there we go.
We'll see a character named at the start of each turn. Hopefully well indicated. If not, there's probably it's probably possible to make a good guess on what he'll name. For instance, next turn, I'm guessing he's going to name Sarvina to stop her fielding additional Sarvinas, or to make her pay for fielding additional Sarvinas at least. So he has a lot of energy there to work with. He's probably going to try and buy up. I'm surprised he hasn't gone from a multiple man yet, because that's a big part of his
that's a big part
energy
of the list. And also, it's a lot of the dice allocation. You would have thought he would have gone somewhere near there. So let's actually look at what multiple man's ability actually is. So multiple man, and it's the pile on ability. So
it is just Swarm, technically on his... The only written ability is Swarm.
Yeah. While the character is active, if you draw this die during your clear and draw step, you may roll an extra dice.
Yes, so for each one you draw, you roll an additional dice as long as you have one fielded. It lets you get a lot more energy, especially with the other unique fact about Multiple Man. That particular card has a higher max dice count than most.
Yes.
So most dice you'll see 4 of, some dice you'll only see 1 of. Multiple Man, you can see 6 of him in a team. So it's been a while since we saw, possibly it's the first time we've seen a higher max count of a dice. I don't know the older sets as well as I'd like, but we've seen some messing around with dice matches before, so...
Well, he's fielding the Psychic, which is no surprise. Actually, was that left over from last round?
That was left over from last round.
Yes, that was.
But what he has done, he's bought an Electra, which is another new card from the Deadpool set. The Electra is a 2-cost, and I believe it protects your other 2-cost characters from global abilities used by your opponent. This is quite important in this matchup, because during Battle of Global Abilities for a second, Gav has bought Mr. Fantastic, who has possibly one of my favourite global abilities, actually, on that card. So Mr. Fantastic, as we're just getting up now, you pay 1 mast, and you can force one of your opponent's characters to attack that turn. So if your opponent has a character which is just sitting in the field with an annoying effect, you can just use that global, get it out of the field. You can take a bit of damage for it, but often on characters you don't really mind. So
while blocking, you may redirect up to 2 damage from Mr. Fantastic to your character he blocks. Global, pay mask, target character must attack this turn.
It is that global, which has been mainly bought for... In this case, I mean, Electra will stop Suzanne from forcing his character to attack when he may not want to. So Gareth will be looking to get a couple of masked characters in his field zone already. We're looking to try and keep his Constantine in the field zone rather than getting that to attack through. Yes, it is that rare Electra, I believe.
While Electra is active, you've got a character die with purchase cost of 2 or less cannot be targeted by global abilities, either players.
Is all the character dice you see on the left-hand side of Gareth's field are 2-cost or less, so that is a large quantity of his dice.
And I believe that we've just seen a purchase from Susan as well earlier.
Yes, that is a Dwarf Wizard. Another good control piece in the Dwarf Wizard. It is the rare Dwarf Wizard, and when you field it, you choose a character dice in the field. All copies of that character dice in the field have no tests, so it just wipes abilities completely. So it is a very nice control card to get it out. We are seeing a Mr. Fantastic Global here, before the Electra can come out. So for the Constantine has to attack this turn, which will get its effect off the field.
Yep. However, that unless she's going to block, that's going to be an attack that goes through.
It's only a couple of damage.
She can take it.
Like we were saying, life is a resource. That Constantine is very annoying to keep on the field. However, he also runs the Blink, a global which we've seen before, which he can just use a mask to get it back.
It's also useful because if you force someone to use the dice, it goes back into their use pile, so then they can't get it back.
Yeah, if it does damage directly through, it will go to the use pile. That can sometimes take a while to cycle through the bag, get rid of it at a good point.
Whereas if you defeat it, it goes immediately to the prep area, I believe.
Yes, which just gets rolled in next turn. Sometimes you can just see dice just keep coming back, and you never stop.
Some way, that's an advantage of Susan KOing one of her dice, that she gets it back immediately next turn anyway.
Yes, definitely.
So she can use her own dice as a resource there.
Yeah, that's definitely a big thing. In other cards, I don't know if we'll see any of it today, but other cards definitely make use of this Terror mechanic to deafen back quickly.
And look at all the dice that's in that roller there. This is going to be one hell of a roll. Although I'm wondering whether the David Lincoln luck will come into play today.
With this amount of dice, and with cards like Parallax, you can usually guarantee...
There we go. I can see at least 3 character faces there.
Yes.
At least for sidekicks. I believe we got a mask.
Got some multiple mans.
Multiple man, yeah.
Got an elf thief. There may just be fielded threats and more tabs on the field to be able to spin them down in the face of a Sarvina.
I believe Electra is also being used there as a resource to pay for it, I think.
No, I think that's on character face.
She's character face, yes, she is.
There's some discussion about the Blink. Though also we'll see... Oh, that is interesting. I believe I know what they're talking about. So with the Electra in the field, he would not be able to blink back his own Constantine. I believe that is what they're now discussing. Because Electra just says it cannot be targeted, not by your opponent. It's just by anyone. So he would then not be able to blink back his own Constantine.
Yeah, because Constantine's cost is 2.
Yes.
So
that is a very interesting interaction there. I don't know if he'll just let the Constantine go through and try and get it back later, or whether he will try and leave the Electra out and blink it back first, but we'll have to see what he decides as the turn goes on. It's not an easy decision for him.
His reroll coming up right now, and there's more discussion going on. Talk about Plow Relax, and now I believe
Mr.
Fantastic. Ding, ding, ding. Is it the DC Mr. Fantastic, or...?
It's Marvel.
No, it's Marvel.
It is
Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four, yeah.
Interestingly, we've seen 3 of the Fantastic Four. We have never seen the Invisible Woman as a card. We have had
Really?
Finn, we've had... I believe there was some discussion about lights, which I obviously can't go into too much.
I could make a joke about not seeing the Invisible Woman as a card, but I'm not going to go there, I think. Yes.
We'll leave that one out, but no, Invisible Woman, and from what I've heard, it's not likely we will see her as a card in the future, unfortunately.
Is there a reason for that? Or?
I believe, or at least I heard, this may just be hearsay, but there's some rights disputes between seeing it and cards.
Yeah, I can see that. Right, so there's a lot of energy in play here.
A lot of energy.
He's got his free choice of what he wants to do, and of course he can save that for globals, but he's got to remember that some of his dice may not be able to be affected by those globals. So that's the thing of Susan's list. She is debuffing him hard at this point.
And she'll be adding harder again next turn if she never Sarmina to attack. She was stopped attacking for a turn by that Constantine. She chose to get another Sarmina dice out that turn, which we unfortunately were talking over, but she has 2 Sarminas in the field and hopefully ready to go.
If you're in the chat, in either our Twitch chat or our Facebook chat, please be sure to leave a comment and let us know what you're looking forward to seeing this time. How do you think the game is going to go down? Who is your money on this one? We have Gareth Thomas on 17 life and Susan left on... Gareth left on 14, Susan left on 17. We've got 32 minutes and 54 seconds on the clock.
Well, unfortunately, seeing another judge ruling which is slowing down player bits, but it has to be done in this situation. It's a fair situation and it's a new card, so... Yeah. It's understandable. Deadpool said it's only been out for a bit over a month, I believe, and we've only had 1 set of regionals before this last weekend, I believe, so it's very new stuff. It's very nice to see new cards in this meta, so... It is nice to see interactions that we've not seen before. Yes. Especially for someone like you who isn't an experienced player. It's kind of new for you as well. Yep, but I actually saw it at Electra card when going through my stuff recently and thought that is going to see some play. Just being able to stop global abilities like that is a very powerful ability. Yeah. A lot of these cheap dice do good things, but you don't want to see them leave the field. Electra can just stop that, which is nice. I could see Electra probably becoming quite a facet of many lists that come in. Definitely in the right list. Definitely in a lot of lists, actually, I think. Especially since her ability only works on your enemy's dice, I believe. No, it's on your own dice, but on your character's your character dice on any global ability use. So basically, you unfortunately it means your own globals may not be used. So there is downside to that. It avoids a lot of things. It avoids people Gareth has a very global heavy list, and it stops people from messing with his globals. Like we've seen Suzanne do a bit now. That will have to soon stop unless the Electra doesn't come out. But I believe he may be trying to get the energy on the Electra, so he wants to blink back that Constantine, keep its effect in, keep the Sarminas from attacking, hopefully. So that is, I believe, a route he's chosen to go down. Yeah, and there is Electra, I believe, on a face card there, or is that a bolt? It is quite hard to see. I believe it shouldn't be a bolt to see as a master out, I believe. But so I think it is actually a face character for her. Yes, but he may just choose not to field her, of course. Yes, there's a choice. We see another Constantine being bought, so he may be deciding to just sidle through a bad and try and get another one out that way. Could be. We'll see how it all plays out. I don't know where this is going to go. It's really hard to say. These are two quite interesting lists. Lantern Moon is not the one I've had the most experience with. My personal preference is the Bard list. So we do see the multiple man coming out, so in future turns, if he gets more multiple man, he can start performing bid just off his dice, but not even needing to Professor X potentially. So it's interesting from Susan. We haven't seen any Elf Thief. Oh, we have a comment. We've been told. Real Netson says he really needs to buy his ring this turn. So and that is the Lantern Ring we mentioned earlier. So Lantern Ring, let's have a look at that. Yes. Lantern, for anyone who is new to the game. Lantern Ring. Limited only imagination, continuous. While active, when your characters attack, they deal 1 damage to target player for each energy symbol in your reserve pool that matches their type. And he's been rolling a lot of energy and getting a lot of dice. So that is the idea. Getting a few characters of an energy type, in this case masked, in your field zone, then getting a lot of energy in your reserve pool and just swinging through for quite big amounts of damage. From my experience, doesn't usually one-hit KO, but can usually get scarily close quite quickly. And Epsilon is right. He needs to get that through because he's rolling so many dice. That is a resource which could potentially cripple
Susan's list.
That is his win condition. We saw an Elf Eve attack again on Matt's level and Durham Fu, so Susan's now down to 14 life, which we will update momentarily, but we see relatively equal life totals. However, Sarina can attack again next turn unless she feels enough one. I will point out we do see the Sarina cards upside down. What that usually indicates is it's being blanked by something, so in this case it's being named by Constantine, so that's a good visual way of remembering what's been named. So again, I believe we've seen Constantine name Sarina, so if she wants to feel another Sarina, that'll be another turn of missed attacks. So if I was in her shoes, I'd think about missing the Sarina this turn, trying to get that man to go out.
Wow, that reroll there doesn't work very well.
It doesn't work, but she still has access to a power that's global.
She does,
which
yes.
can reroll her dice.
Very useful for a player to have access to that global.
Very nice consistency cards. However, like all globals, it is used by both sides, so
yes.
you've got to be careful when pinning it.
I thought that was a very interesting mechanic that was introduced into the game, because it's usually when you have a card in your hand, it's usually, or in your deck, it's usually only limited to you. Having an ability which is limited to you only, but also there's something else that your opponent can use, really changes the game state, I think. It's one of the most interesting things about the game, in my opinion.
You definitely have to think hard about all globals you've been, because they are all used by your opponents, and often I've almost run a list, or I have run a list, and I found out mid-game one of my globals really hurts myself, which can be really bad. And the same with the basic actions. So the 4 basic actions in the middle can be bought by either side. So you can buy your opponent's basic actions, again you have to be careful there. If you have a basic actions which will hurt your team too much, you've got to really think about whether it's worth it to pin it. So we have Susan deciding what to do. She's spending her energy to buy a Bard, so she's looking to try and get that through. Bard, as we saw in the game on Thursday, can make these big swings very quickly. So, as she didn't feel for Sarina this turn, Sarina does have abilities and can attack if she chooses.
For the players who are not aware of what Half-Elf Bard Master Lord Alliance does, when Half-Elf Bard attacks, each attacking character die gets +1 attack and +1 defense for each of your other different character dice. So even if she can't use the Sarina, she can still get the buff from the Sarina on her other attacking character.
And Bard is a huge swing card. Even with 3 or 4 different characters out, that is a huge amount of attack to go out. Even with 4 characters out, a Psycho becomes a 4 attack character, which is huge.
We saw that with when David had that win of 20-0 in one round. He got very lucky for that roll. It was exactly 20.
It was exactly 20. That was quite lucky, but that is what Bard does.
It won him the game.
Yes.
So
Bard can often just one hit like that, and that is honestly what a lot of Bard lists try to do.
Would you argue that Bard is probably one of the most seen cards in the meta?
Definitely one of them. We have other ones, like you have Professor X, and I believe in the last World Tournament, Elf Thief was actually the most seen card. Just because it fit on many lists. Like we see the Lantern Win list, which doesn't run Bard, but also runs Elf Thief. So many of them actually run Elf Thief that it was seen slightly more than Bard. But Bard, with splash ability, it goes on any list which deals combat damage. It's one of the big threats that everyone has to prepare for.
And our judge Chris Turner being stressed to the max here, it seems. He was our competitor on Thursday, wasn't he? In our test stream.
So a bit rusty that day, but he has gotten up to speed. He's done a lot of research to make sure he is up for the task of judging today. So every call so far has been correct. So I'm glad to say so.
Yeah, she's attacking with Sarina. Or at least I don't think she can do that.
Yes, because she did not feel the Sarina this time.
Yeah, that's true.
The Constantine effect only goes into effect when she feels another one. So she has attacked with 2.
She's fine.
Now Darth has a decision: does he spin down? Does he block? Does he do both? So it depends how much damage he's willing to let through, and how much damage he wants to block. So we have our judge John in the room. So we'll hear from him again.
I made 2 rulings at that point. The first one I did was there was a blink transmutation thing. Basically, Mr. Fantastic had done stopped something. He had not made to the attack step yet.
Yeah.
He was debating on something, and it was just a clarification of when to use blink and when
Linda's
to
used
yeah, basically he
blocks.
goes to put it to attack. Mr. Fantastic been fulfilled, done. He can then use blink transmutation break.
That is correct.
Second thing is there was a brief thing with Constantine. Constantine's Serena Black Widow, and she was attacking because she had not fielded Serena yet. The effect is still there.
Which is just as we were saying. So the effect.
Basically, that was it.
Yeah, we were just saying the same thing. So
that's fine.
As you can see, he is definitely up to speed. So
he's shoving a
psychic dice,
and an Elf Thief in there for defense.
That's a Constantine dice.
Oh, that is a Constantine. Yes, you're right. Constantine dice. So yes,
so, neither one was enough to KO, and he did not spin down for at least one of the for either of the Sarvina, so they're still getting that 4 direct damage through. That is the threat of Sarvina. She will do damage unless you spin down and block. So it is a very quick threat and has won many games, especially in our more casual limited formats.
Yeah.
Sarina has gone through for some big numbers before, so it is a very steady card and was and it's still seen, but was definitely seen a lot in the early days.
I mean, Susan's sitting pretty right here, but Gareth could swing it if he gets all that energy and can get that lantern ring.
He definitely needs that lantern
He
ring.
needs that ring, otherwise his entire... That's the only thing he's got at this stage, because if he rolls a very good energy-based roll, he can dish out a lot of attack, and she's not got much to defend with there.
No.
So as long as he can get 3 character dices, he's fine.
The defense doesn't even really matter against lantern minches. It does its damage immediately on attacking, so it is like the Sarmidas in that case. They do damage. I believe we've seen a couple of missed character faces here from Electra and Elfief. The Constantine's a bit harder to see.
Yeah, the Constantine is very hard to see.
Yes. Sorry. The dice can be very pretty to look at when you're close up, but for a stream like this, it is a bit unfortunate. I believe that Constantine will be fielded by the looks of it, so he has the Constantine back in the field, so it will limit the amount of Sarminas that Suzanne can play.
And here we go. So he's got 2 masks at least on the is that the elf thief?
Yes, the Elfief dice, which I imagine he'll just... seems to be keeping his roll like this.
Yeah, seems to put the masks aside there. there he goes, he's re-rolling.
A lot of a mask, which is interesting. He looks like he's trying to
Well,
get more characters.
he's got a mask, a bolt, and 2 wilds on the side there, ready to go.
That, I imagine, is to buy the Lantern Min, because you need a bolt to buy a Lantern Min.
Well, there you go.
Can be auto get in these mask-heavy lists.
Well, he's got a bolt here. He's got a couple more masks. He's getting a lot of masks, which is no surprise.
He missed the field of characters, which must be painful for him, because he wants the defense against Sarminas right now, and he wants the characters in the field zone for when that Lantern Min comes around.
But he does have parallax, if we can use it.
Which I believe he has just used.
Yep, there we go.
So
Parallax.
he's one of the bolts to Parallax. He kept a question mark, because that's pretty much the best you'd hope for a psychic dice.
Double... Oh, energy again!
You still can't see the Constantine too much, but he double energy on the Elfief.
He's rolling all the energy he needs, but he doesn't have what he needs to do the attack. He needs... Although he can get the... Oh,
Parallax again.
Parallaxing
You can
again.
parallax as many times as you want in turn, just cost you 1 energy each time.
And again, the character dice come up saying nope.
That is the game sometimes, unfortunately. It's kind of sad to see, but he will still have time to make a comeback next game. He gets a Constantine at
You get
least.
a Constantine, that's something in there.
Yes, that will stop the Sarminas from multiplying at least, but possibly the Dwarf Wizard will come in. And that's actually going to be an interesting decision for him to make, because I believe Suzanne's bad will be refilled soon, and there's a lot of effects in there. There's a Bard, which can buff up hugely. There's the Dwarf Wizard, which if he doesn't name with Constantine, can then blank Constantine for the rest of the game, potentially. And there's a Man's Claw, which can do more guaranteed chip damage.
Sorry? The 8th player has arrived.
So we'll have a 4-4 games next game. He will, of course, take a round 1 loss for being late, but...
We did delay half an hour, which is unfortunately, because of the long event, we can't delay any much longer than that. But we have 8 players, which means we'll have a top 8 cut.
The strangest thing, this is going to decide standings for the top 8 cut. It will be a 3-round Swiss, though, as 8 players is a 3-round Swiss, so...
Yeah, so we'll have 3 rounds worth of Swiss, then we'll have a top 8 cut, so everyone makes top 8.
Yes.
Hooray! Everyone gets top 8. Okay, here we go.
Doesn't mean everyone gets surprises, so we can't complain too much about that.
No. I mean, it's nice to have players walk away with something more than just one item. We do like to create a good experience here at Athena. Yeah. Anyway, back to the game. So we've got a good attack lineup here. He's got good defense against the Sarinas. Yes. But he really needs a bit more. I think he should...
He's debating his buying decisions, I believe.
I mean, has he even bought the Lantern Ring? That's the thing.
Here comes the Lantern... No, yep, there goes the Lantern Ring. So that is bought. I'll be going back in his bag. He may be thinking of keeping the other couple of masks back, just to try and Professor X to get it through quicker. So, which I won't blame him on at all. Otherwise, he'd have to wait quite a while, and it does look like that's what he's doing. It means he's a bit short on characters, so he, I believe, only has a multiple mana in the bag right now, but...
Yeah, well, he's got to... That's the part of the game. Yeah. You've got to take what you got.
So we've got Suzanne professional at bad here. There's a lot of psychics in there, so 7 psychics, 4 other counter dice. So we will see what she can pull off this. This may be a slow turn for her, unfortunately. But it's not it. That is
that's
a Bard and a Manticore.
That's not bad at all.
Yes. We can't see what. Unfortunately, we can't see what Dav chose for his Constantine pick. Unfortunately, no characters at all. I really hope she remembers to power out here. Often it's hard to remember when you've practiced with a team and you know what your team does. It's hard to remember to use your opponent's globals.
That's the other thing, is that you can't, because you're not experienced with using the opponent's globals, although it introduces new tactics into the game, you might not recall that you have access to those tactics. She has got a double bolt here, which she can use. She's spending it to gain another
So she's just spending all her dice. She's choosing not to Well, she had another Manticore and another Sarina.
To be fair, the Saurian's working out for her.
Sarina is working out for her. She may be attacking again now just to force some spin downs, force some blocks.
And there goes
or possibly just force some blink transmutation. So Dareth has a choice here. He can either block and spin down, or he can use his mask to blink back for Sarina's without having to block. But
he's using the mask, it seems.
no, he is Professor Exton still.
Oh, he's axing. There we go.
He will have to. Well, he won't have to block something, but he will have to choose what he blocks, what he lets through.
Oh boy, this is the thing. When your opponent does something, you've got to think, what's the best option for me here?
He's spinning down at least once, possibly twice to negate the damage at least. So if Divot has the ability to do that, he doesn't have many masked characters out at the moment. He's spinning down twice, so he's not taking damage from Sarina's ability, but now has a weaker board to deal with. If he's blocking Constantine and Elfie, so he's leaving a Constantine in the field.
And they get KO'd, they go back, they're immediately going to come back next turn. Quite a smart strategy of him, really, in a
Definitely
way.
the Elfie, though it does leave him a bit tower to light in the field, so...
Well, not for long.
That's two multiple
man.
So that is 2 swarms, so he'll be drawing 2 heads of dice, so he still has 4 dice to roll. Or 4 dice to draw. So this is going to be a huge roll. If he can hit the Lantern Ring, actually with this bit of a roll...
This could be it.
Oh, he missed the Lantern Ring, unfortunately, so... At least gets the Electra, so in future... Suzanne won't be able to miss the Fantastic if he gets it
But we do know that Lantern Ring is sitting in there ready to be used.
I imagine he's probably going to go for character faces and masks. Just so he can get the character faces out, get them ready to attack.
Still, I can't tell what the Constantine is, but it looks like he can't roll a character face to save his life. Other than the
Constantine
Black
won't
Widow.
won't be as much of a worry, because Constantine is a shield character, so he won't be on as many. He won't be trying to roll as many shields.
He has got Electra active, as well as a psychic dice there. But he's also got a lot of energy to play with.
I believe both multiple man rolled energy, so...
Oh, what are the chances? Okay, so it looks like he's considering fielding the Electra there.
I'll say definitely field the Electra. It's a masked character, it gets you Lantern Ring damage. It gets you that protection from your opponent, so... I'd imagine he may try and re-roll for some of his other characters this turn. Oh, we have a player new to Dice Masters in our chats.
Oh, hello, Jim Miles.
Yes, I hope we are being informative enough for you on the stream. We're trying our best to let you know what all the cards do.
As a veteran player, maybe actually as a veteran player and a beginner player, maybe it's best we kind of explain the game for newcomers. So, as you can see, he's just rerolling his dice. Every round, you draw 4 dice from your bag, and you get to roll them, and you get a 1 reroll, and you can field character faces, but you must pay an energy cost to field them. But of course, you have to buy those character dice, which you've seen by the dice purchased. He's got masks there, along with a couple of a wild and a question mark. He's wondering whether he wants to parallax with those other dice, I think. He's got a good front lineup there with 2 multiple men, a Constantine, an Elf-Thief, and an Electra. So he's got a good frontal force coming in. He's got to watch out for the Black Widow Saurias.
In fact, parallax and once here.
So he spends the global to parallax to reroll his dice. He gets another couple of lightning bolts and another character.
More energy, unfortunately, but I have to say, this is... As much of a life total as looking, I'd say this is kind of swinging in Gareth's favour. With those 3 characters out, that's a big character lineup, and we'll be doing a lot of damage once that Lantern Ring comes out.
Yeah, the Lantern Ring is the thing. He needs that ring. Susan needs to either clean up in this next phase, if she can, or she's going to be suffering a major damage attack next turn.
But yes, it is. As long as the ring rolls, but because of parallax, he's likely to get that ring out. It's quite unlikely to miss
it's
it.
very unlikely to actually get that. He's got so many dice that he can, especially with multiple man, he can re-roll and make sure he gets the dice he wants. So he's fielded. Whether he attacks is his choice. He's still debating whether he wants to spend some... he's spending an energy, it seems, there.
He's just moving it around.
Well, moving around, yeah.
A lot of players like to group their energy together to try and work out what they're doing with it, just have a visual...
Yeah, it's nice to kind of follow and think about what his thought process might be at this point. So he's got quite a lot of energy. He could buy a dice. I would say he'd probably go for another multiple man.
I'd say 1 or 2 more multiple men will aid him a lot, as they'll swarm out, they'll keep getting more dice.
Yes, they'll give him more dice to roll, which gives him more chance to proc the
here we
power
go,
ring.
2 more multiple men.
2 more multiple men. So that's 2 more multiple men dice purchased, bringing the total of dice purchased to 10. He's through half the dice purchase, since everyone starts with 20 dice that need to be purchased from the side, and 8 sidekicks in total.
10 dice is a rather large amount of field. Often you can win on less than that, especially with Bard and a couple of counters out. 5 to 10 is probably the average during the game, so already being on 10 is relatively high.
Okay, it looks like he's not attacking.
He's just passing
so
this turn.
Susan draws her 4 dice from the bag.
And imagine Sarvina may... Oh, we haven't actually seen a Sarvina name. Sarvina dice still.
So we've got 3 sidekicks and a dwarf.
I think missing the characters last time should have been the turning point.
Alright, she re-rolls and she gets double energy again. So no character faces to field. She spends that to parallax.
She's decided to parallax this time.
So rolls, and
Still
again,
nothing.
still nothing. And she clearly said she's doing it again. There she goes. She wants that character face.
But Dwarf Wizard does have
There we go.
There we go. I would say it does have some zero field and cross, so she could just keep doing it. She is blanking the Constantine.
She's blanking Constantine.
So from now on, Constantine won't be able to blank further Sarvenas. So it may be a bit too late. I think she needed the Manticore Bard last turn.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. I think that is one turn too late. She's fielding though, so
She's attacking them.
Yeah, so he's going to have to block. Or
At
spin
this
down.
point, they do a maximum. Technically, they do a maximum of 10. I don't imagine they're both max level, but he knows his Lantern is coming through. He may just be looking to get them out of the field zone, so he may just let a lot of the damage through.
Because if he can win it next turn, of course that's a big if.
It's a big if, but with a lot of characters out, and especially with Suzanne only having then he is forcing the. He forced the attack with Mr. Fantastic, and Susan countered by blinking it back into the field. So that is some interesting play and counterplay.
That's a nice counterplay there.
Yes.
So Blink, just so people know, Blink is a global ability.
You pay a mask, you remove target attacking character die from the attack zone.
Yeah, pay mask, remove target attacking character die from the attack zone. It stays in the field zone.
Yes.
So essentially, he brought her in. She then brought him back, and I think she's just been
He brought her
back in again.
Yes.
So it's a to and fro here, and he's spinning down twice, not letting the attacks through.
Or he's spinning down, but he's not letting the abilities through. I imagine he's just going to let the Dwarf Wizard through. It's possible the Dwarf Wizard doesn't actually have any attack value. On its lowest face, its attack value is 0, I believe.
Yeah,
So it's possible that won't even be doing any damage when doing it.
There goes a multiple man into the field, so he's defending with 2,
Yep.
letting something through.
Letting the Dwarf Wizard through, so we'll see if that actually did any damage.
Yep, so that goes loose.
Doesn't look like it did, so it was a Dwarf Wizard on its lowest face. We're seeing a couple of Professor X's.
Yeah, makes
Variables
sense. The dwarf, was it?
The Paragon Sentiment.
When fielding, target character die. When White Wizard Dwarf is active, copies of that character die in the field zone have no text. If
So
you field
he
another White Dwarf ward target, yeah. So essentially, that
he
you
wants
treat,
to get rid
yeah,
of it.
yeah. He wants to get rid of that, which is fine. He's got it. He's got it out of the turn. She's gonna have to wait till she cycles through her dice bag to get it back in next turn.
Yep, we're seeing a lot of Swarm come through. I'm trying to see.
Oh,
That's what it. So
dear me. Look at that.
if the Lantern Wind rolls any of his time, he already has 2 masked characters in his field zone and another, I think, 3 or 4 in his roll here. So this should just be a big swing.
This could be it.
I imagine this could be the end of the first game. We are 40 minutes into this game, so it has been.
Yeah, which Jim, if you're interesting, he let the White Dwarf Wizard through because he was doing no damage, and it gets him to the use pile, which she has to wait until she cycles through all her dice. Then they all go back in the bag, and it's random chance when she brings him out again. So it's kind of a smart maneuver. Being KO'd is not too bad because you immediately get yourself back next turn. So if anything, actually letting damage through can be beneficial at times.
This is why, even more than in other games, life is a resource. You can pay your life to get a character die to your use pile, especially with a Mr. Fantastic Global. You're basically paying a master and a bit of life to get rid of a character for 3-4 turns, potentially.
And there we go, he's fielding the
lot of fielded.
thief. Yeah, and
He got them
multiple
in.
men, yes, he's got the big swing.
A point about Lantern Wind, it only counts the exact symbol, it does not count question marks.
Oh.
So he has to have exactly the mask symbol, so he only has 2 in his zone, but he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 masked characters, which could mean that could be game even with that.
Lantern Ring, limited only by imagination, continuous while active. When your characters attack, they deal 1 damage to target player for each energy symbol in your reserve pool that matches their type.
Yeah, so
and he's got a lot of masked characters. If he has
5 masked
mask,
characters, that is... Oh, it's more
there's
than
4
that.
masks
4.
there.
That is going to be
That's gonna
a KO.
That's going to be a KO right
Yes,
there.
that is 20 damage just there. So he did have a big roll eventually. So Susan lost the tempo a bit on the bad turn when she missed a Bard of a Manticore, and that's enough to swim the game.
Thump.
Yeah.
And that, bear in mind, people, that could have taken someone who's full health down to nothing.
Yes.
So that is the power of that role. I mean, Gareth was you could argue, if you go by life totals only, he was losing at that point, but suddenly he swings it back, and we go back to a 20 swing. It's amazing what you can do with this game.
Yeah, he got the ball position he needed, he got the Lantern in, possibly a couple of turns later than he would have liked, but he still got it out in time to swim the game, so it's dangerous to mount a Gareth.
Lantern Ring, limited by imagination, continuous while active character attack. Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
Simple and sweet. Okay.
So I believe I just double checked my damage, but that is definitely 20, so...
Okay.
So Susan realises that I think she's lost here, so...
Yeah, I think she just...
They're just checking, because we often don't have these full competitive tournaments. We have different metas, we have different rule sets, so...
So I'm just doing something now, kind of facilitate a better screen. There we go. That way we can actually see
He's in a bit of a background at the moment, which is...
Yeah!
I believe a magic-based background.
Behind the scenes footage, as it were.
Yes, we're seeing a V-set, so Susan could possibly try and rush out another mount. When this game goes to time for reference, when time is called, the turn player finishes their turn, and then there are 5 more turns total in the game after that. So we'll probably be seeing that this game. We'll see if Susan can get a very quick game off him. She'll need a lot of Sarmina's rolled very quickly, and if I was in Dara's shoes, I'd buy that Constantine again, slow down Suzanne, buy the Elf Feast and make sure she goes slow, and just keep it. Suzanne does have a choice of whether doing first or second. I would take first just as she needs to speed it out. But we are seeing a... So we reset the life, reset all the dice, and we go again.
And we go again. She's got to try and swing at least a draw in the next... in the next 8 minutes. I don't know if that's possible, but
it is possible. Sarmina's can, especially if Dara starts missing his tower faces, Sarmina's can swing through that damage surprisingly quickly.
Okay, so we start with the characters being assigned to next to their cards. They are not bought. The 8 psychic dice go back into their respective dice bags, which of course they draw 3 for the first turn. So there's Susan. She's going first, rolling there.
She has a fist, a mask, and a sidekick.
Well,
so she has the Sarina at least. I would reroll the sidekick.
There we go. She gets another shield. She can spend those to buy a Sarina dice. Yes, that's the first side purchase.
Probably looking to Professor X next turn as well to increase the amount of dice she's rolling.
Immediately into the used pool. Yep. So that's important to note. So she can't bring it back right away, but the next time she cycles through, she might get it.
Yes.
And there goes Gareth's roll there. He's got a good couple of dice, enough to buy a
I think he forgot to roll a dice.
He did forget to roll dice. There we go.
It's quite easy for that. The 3 dice on your first turn roll is quite a new one, so a lot of players are still getting used to it. It was in place just for the regionals last time, but it was, I think, announced a couple of weeks before the regionals.
And there's the Constantine purchase.
Yes, and he's ready to Professor F next turn, so he's done a ramp up as well. But that Constantine will be slowing Suzanne down once it comes out. She will get 1 turn of attacks through likely without, but we've seen a lot of dice. We've seen a lot of
dice.
We have the team chief of it.
8 minutes remaining.
Yes. Thank you. So we got a lot of energy reserve there because she's Professor Rex. So Professor Rex's ability, which is the recruiting your movements, global, pay mask, move up to 2 psychic dice from your used pile to your prep area. So essentially, you can get more dice this turn for paying.
It is vamping. It is also importantly getting the psychic die out of your bag, which you don't want to see. So we have
ring power. Basically, it gives it to every dice, doesn't it?
Yes.
So
every dice.
He did get
20 damage in one without even the attack.
That was a big swing.
Big swing, yeah. That was what I thought it was. What I stopped. Okay.
She's still wondering how to spend that energy.
Yes, I imagine she'll want more Sarvinas.
Yeah, but time is not on her side.
Yeah, she needs to play quickly.
So and there we go, buying Sarina.
Yeah.
So a Black Widow Sarina going into play there.
Is that for the Manticore? That is for the Manticore.
That's
an interesting choice.
Another 3 dice there.
Yes, another 2 dice.
2 dice. Wow, 3 dice in total. Yeah. That's where I got confused. Not 0.3. that 0.3 would be unusual.
3 tenths of a dice has been bought.
Okay, now on to Gareth's turn, rolling his 4 dice that he said, John. He did Professor X as well, so he gained 2. That's a total of 6 dice.
He gained 3, I believe, because he did twice.
Did twice, yes, you're right.
Well, it's an interesting choice on Suzanne's part, not Professor X. In my place, I would have just to get those psychic dice out of the bag, like I say, and get more Sarvinas quicker.
He's got a wild, so that's something which he can use to spend any energy on.
Like I said, I imagine he's just going to try and have a Constantine out as early as possible, stop the early ad from Susan, and just glide comfortably into the...
Because when buying a dice, your only one has to be the actual symbol you need, but you need at least to spend that number of any dice to spend.
A cost total and a energy type.
Yes.
In fact, in some of the newer sets, some of the cards have dual energy types or more, which is a very interesting mechanic.
Nice. 2 wilds there, probably keeping that for a rainy day.
I believe we just saw a Parallax as well.
Yeah.
So he's just trying to roll more dice.
He's probably keeping those wilds for Parallax, maybe. Oh, we've got 2 shields, a fist, and a mask, and 2 wilds there.
We're buying an Elf Thief from 2 of them.
So that's Elf Thief going in there. Boom, boom, boom.
I do agree, Real Nepsilon. Sarina is suited for a short games, trying to get that damage through early. As we saw, as soon as Gav got his board up, and as soon as he got that bin out, the game shifted around so
It did
dramatically.
shift, yes. She got what she needed a turn too late.
Unfortunately so. Well, I said, if that bar had come through...
Okay, cycle through. So back into the dice bag, shuffle it around, draw out 4. Hopefully she can get the Sarinas in
But we have
there.
8-sided dice in there, so it's not the
Not
best
good odds.
We got 1
We got 1, yes.
This is why Professor X is such a good card. If she had been able to Professor X twice last turn, there'd be 4 less sidekits in there, a lot higher odds of hitting those Sarinas. Yes, we see a Sarina jet fielded, so she has at least... That's 4 damage for his face, which...
Push him.
He could blink 1 back, but it's still 2 damage. That's a nice thing about Sarvina. You can't prevent all the damage just by blinking or blocking. She has more damage there. So we'll see.
We've got 4 minutes and 20 seconds just on the clock here. Also, to answer your question, Jim, George does still hang out with Athena. He actually did our Aether Revolt pre-release stream about a month ago, and he should be back for Amon Ket when that happens. Anyway, there we go. So
we see the attackers. He just let the attack through from Sarvina. He's not worried about little bits of life. He just wants a Constantine out. So he took the 4 damage.
He took the 4 damage and just went for it.
Yes. And he's just trying to death that Constantine out. He gets a Constantine. I imagine if he doesn't know how to face, he will parallax heavily. That will just slow down the game enough for him to cruise through. So
yeah, he's going to parallax just to slow down the game at this point.
As a point, if this game does go to time and there's no winner, the game will be a tie. As Gareth won the first game, he will therefore match win. So
yes. And he's re-rolling the entire thing for the first time. I believe we've got a Constantine in there. We've got some masks. A bolt, so there's a parallax in there if he wants to.
Well, parallax can be any energy.
Oh, I didn't realise it was
one of any energy to re-roll your dice.
Okay.
It's very flexible power.
He's got a fist there as well. 3 a lightning bolt, 2 shields, and I think it's 3 masks. 3 masks.
So imagine you'll be keeping a mask to Professor X more, or just a blinch if necessary.
Constantine.
He's paying
a parallax.
1 parallax.
1 parallax,
I believe.
Yep. There's another reroll there. Pretty much almost the same roll.
Well,
2 shields, a mask, and a fist.
But he's just paying it to parallax again. Like we said, he's just desperately trying to get that parallax out, that Constantine out on a character face to slow it down. So that's all he needs to do.
That's all he really needs.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's pretty much game at this point. She could get very lucky, but I don't see it happening. It'd be amazing. It would be amazing if this happened, but I doubt it's going to happen. There we go.
I believe he has his Constantine character face. That will be naming Sarvino every time it can. He has a sighted as well, just to be an extra blocker if needed.
Yeah.
Suzanne does have a Manticore coming through. That probably won't do the most damage. It deals 1 damage when attacks, which can't be prevented. But its attacks faces, I believe, are a bit lower. So, and if he just honestly, he can just keep his mask back. He can just blink it back. He can take the 1 damage and just go through for the win. So yeah, blink is a very nice card. Especially if you need to do multiple hits with a Lantern Wind, you blink your own stuff back. Because the Order Wind will go, they attack, they deal the damage with the winds, and then you can use all those masks to blink back the characters after they've done their damage.
Yeah,
so,
that's very good, because Blink's ability is use only after blockers are assigned. Each of your blocked character dice does 1 damage to the defending player in addition to normal damage.
Yes.
Global, pay mask to remove target for attacking character die from the attack zone. It stays in the field zone. We've seen that before.
Yeah, we'll probably see it again. We have a couple more Master End teams, which is the best suited for it. But the dice ability is also interesting. I have, when my opponents have bought it, sometimes I have bought those dice just for those last points of damage. I believe most notably in my game against Ben Scott, who we'll probably be seeing later, which was one slot of a game, but the blink dice got me through that last few damage, which I believe that was one on turn 3 of time of all things. So,
and there we go. We've got 2 fists, a mask, bolt, and a psychic face.
So she missed the other Sarvina and the Manticore in her bad, which is
very bad.
But that's
part of the game.
Yeah, that's part of the game, and that's why you try and get your side hits out of your bad.
I mean, that's the thing, is that although you missed it, you know that next time you're going to get it. Yes. So there is a certain certainty to the game. As the dice exit the bag, the odds increase you drawing that dice that you didn't draw this time.
As an interesting point, Dice Masters is possibly one of the only open information games, as in, there's no information you can't tell just by the board state. You know what's in a person's bag by what they've bought and what you can see on the field. You know how many dice are in there.
That is actually very true. There is no secret kind of...
Yes.
It's all about tactics and how to manage your combos. Yeah, so there we go. But we've got 21 seconds. This is just going to come in a draw at the state, which will go... Because it does have... but by the way, as you said, Johnny, when time ends, there's 5 more turns, and then that's it. Yes. So, yeah. And we're coming to 8 seconds, and so we're going to go into overtime. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are in overtime.
Now,
Oh.
20 seconds.
20 seconds. Our time is slightly
20,
off, but that's
20 seconds out. I call that a victory. Okay.
This is the best we can do, because we obviously can't hear the games or the judge call-ins.
We're in an entirely separate room. As you can hear, hear that? There's a pin drop going on.
Unless we actually had a pin to drop, but still.
I do love the fact that our booth is separated so much from the actual room. I mean, it's only one room in between us, so but it's such a good buffer. But yeah, here we go on to the overtime area of the game. So we got psychic dice into Gav's play area now.
Yes, I believe they're all Professor X's last turn, so he's still there's 4 dice to draw, so that's a lot of dice to draw. We see the other Constantine and the Elf Thief come through. That Elf Thief, we could see its ability for the first time. It will be able to steal one of Suzanne's energy if it rolls a character face.
Yes, because she's got 2 masks sitting there, and Elf Thief's entire thing is you can use your opponent's energy.
Yes.
And his whole thing is using masks.
Yeah.
So it might actually not benefit her.
It's definitely risky to leave energy up when you're facing Elf Thief, especially since it was a guaranteed that he'd draw that turn, judging by what was left in his bag.
He's got a Constantine and an Elf Thief in actual character faces. The Elf Thief is definitely on a character face, so he can use her energy this turn.
Yes. As a case in point, Elf Thief has to use the ability when fielded, so as soon as you field an Elf Thief, you use the opponent's energy, it goes to a use pile, and you get to spend it on whatever you want to spend it on.
Saving a dice there, probably for a paralyze reroll, though I doubt is the
Well,
case.
you could be just down for a lantern win, just still down for the win.
Could true. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
TG Bozilla, you are correct. Unfortunately, we are not able to actually make rulings here. Just like we said, we are separated from them.
Yes, we are observers. I mean, in X-Wing, because I play the game a lot, I am technically a judge, but because I don't know the game, you know the game a lot, but you're also not staff. So
No, I'm not staff. I am planning to make sure the head judge is aware of any things
Yes.
like that, so we can be aware in future turns. And we'll let Darth know and Suzanne.
You're an
properly on it.
advisor to the judge.
Yes. I'm technically an advisor, so, and I'm very happy to be invited here to co-commentate. Actually, so if not, I'd be fair playing, but.
Okay, so we got 4 energy there, sitting there, ready to deal damage. What do you see Gareth trying to do in these last few turns?
Just try and stall out the game, let it go to time. If he wants to try and be flashy, he can try and get a lantern in here, but I wouldn't recommend it. I'll just try and get a few more characters to be blockers.
It's basically delay tactics at this point.
Yeah.
So you know that you're going to have 5 more rounds to contend with, so you have to plan to essentially block anything coming in, so Susan can't get the win.
Get as many character faces as you can. Keep some Mars back to use a Blink Global to get it back. Keep some characters to roll down in case of Sarvina, and that's how you take the game, I'd imagine. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so I believe
Susanna's just gone from a bag, and we'll see what she can pull out of here.
hands in the bag. They're discussing something.
Since the game has gone to time, there is technically no time limit. It's just a round limit now.
It's now into a kind of weird zone of this amount of time. Which, to be fair, I wish I'd have considered probably adding 20 minutes in between rounds. Normally I have like a 15-minute leeway between rounds, but now thinking about it, 5 rounds can take a long time. Yeah. Oh well, you live and learn. Okay, so she's now actually going for it. She's fishing in the back.
Amanda Corner Sarvina. I'd imagine, we can't see, but I imagine the Sarvina was a dice named by Gareth to stop with the Constantine. So if it comes out, it won't be attacking this turn. It would be able to attack on future turns, so it's still probably a good idea for Suzanne to try and field it. We see the Hellhound come out. I'll just check which Hellhound it is, because that is a different one from one I am used to playing. It is the Apprentice Fiend.
The Apprentice Fiend.
It's another direct damage one. When it's attacked, it will just deal 1 damage to your opponent, so that is very much Suzanne's stitch. Direct damage when she attacks. More damage goes through if not blocked, and she'll try and keep up the aggro that way. So Sarvina, Hellhound, Manticore all day for that end. And then the Bard is obviously there as a finisher, getting more damage when needed. So Parallax in, and actually I believe this is another point I need to bring up with the judge. When you Parallax, if you use a double energy face for one of the energy, you cannot reroll that energy face. So I believe both players have now done it, so it's not too unfair in this one, but I'll bring it up with a judge. So there's a lot of these strange little rulings. Unfortunately, Wizards, as much as I enjoy the game, often have interesting words on their cards, so...
Tell me about it. I play Static Attack Wing.
Yeah. It is the same for both of us. We both know this pain, so... But they have been improving, at least as far as I've seen in the more recent sets. There's been a lot less questionable ones. Do we not see a name? Oh no, we see the Manticore and the Hellhound attack in. That'll do 2 damage straight away. So he is down to at least 14. I imagine we may just see blocked by the Psychics here, or just blink globals to send them back without taking them more damage.
Jim Miles had a good question about how to get into Dice Masters. Is it affordable? And Real Nuts had a good question which we'll elaborate. Yeah, it follows a collectible card game format. It's a collectible dice game. So boosters are £1.
Pounds, 2 cards, and the matching dice to go with them.
2 cards and a matching dice, and from that particular set, of course. And you get starter sets which are worth about £15.
£15.
More or less.
The nice thing about Dice Masters is rarity is often not a good indication of power. Where we do see a couple of Veritas coming out here, the Multiple Man and the Constantine, the Bard, which we talked so much about, is a starter deck card.
Yes.
So it is very available for everyone. You can just buy a starter deck, you have that Bard. The Elf Thief, which is the most used card, is a common.
Speaking of Multiple Man, how many boosters would Gareth have to have bought to actually get all 6 of those Multiple Man?
Quite a few. I believe
Yes.
I bought a booster bot, or a Dramatic TV, as it's called in Dice Master, which is 90, and I only got 3 Multiple Man dice. So, but buying dice on a secondary market is usually quite cheap.
Yeah.
The Secret Rares are going to be more expensive, but it's still, you're not often going above £10, £20 for even the top competitive cards, and you need 1 card for a list, and then the dice are very cheap. So,
and there are also a variety of themes, aren't there? There's
Yes.
Dungeons and Dragons, there's Yu-Gi-Oh! Is
Yes.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Used much now?
you still see some cards. It's one of the older sets that has some very odd quirks, but there's still some cards. I don't know if we'll see it at all today, but it has some very fun cards, has some very good globals. So
We get so there's that. We got 2 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
yes, which has one set and another set coming out soon. The interesting thing about those is they are not collectible. They are all in the set.
In the set, so you buy the set, you get all that
I
stuff
believe
there.
about £25.
Yeah,
I guess.
about 25 cents, yeah. And then of course you have the probably the most 2 popular ones. Well, I'd say the 3 popular ones are Dungeons and Dragons, Marvel, and DC.
Yes, Marvel has the most sets. It's Beating Head Deadpool, and it has the net set as well, a Guardians of the Galaxy themed set, which should be quite fun.
That should be fun.
And the Deadpool set is also very fun.
The Deadpool set. In fact, the price today is the Deadpool Super Rare set, which
Yes.
if I can reach back here, here we go.
The top 5, you get all the Super Rares from the Deadpool set. That includes the Multiple Man we are seeing there.
You can see the Multiple Man dice just there.
Yes, the other interesting thing in the Marvel sets especially, they have what-if characters. So there's lots of from these strange side stories in the comics, they have what-if. So I believe in this one we have the Phoenix Force Magneto. We have Charles Xavier as Juggernaut. We have Wolverine, the Lord of Vampires. And there's one more I can't think of off the top of my head, but it's another one of these what-if kind of scenarios.
And yes, you can mix and match. Like Susan's team is, we have 2 Marvel characters, a DC themed,
one Marvel, one Marvel, 1 DC, and 6 D&D.
and 6 D&D. So you can mix and match freely. Mix and match.
Yes. There's no official voting yet. There has been some rumours about it. There are 2 cards which are banned, which are Relentless and Swords of Revealing Light. They were banned for their global, which was, I believe it's pay 1 mast, and you can stop someone from blocking that turn. This was very used in a lot of his aggro decks to get through a lot of damage early, and was just a bit too fast for the game. So those are the only 2 banned cards. And like I say, we don't have any other rotations at the moment, so it's just unlimited apart from that. An interesting point is, actually, in America and some over here, there is something called the Pro Dice Circuit, which have set up their own format, which they've named Prime. And that format is a big rotation, only done from, I believe it's World's Finest on, which cuts out 2/3 of the sets. So they're looking to make a very different metagame for their own events.
Very different. And Susan's pressing an attack here with both her Black Widow Sarias, as well as the Hellhound. So the Hellhound will do an extra point damage, and he has to spin down as well.
Yes.
So that's an impressive bit of debuffing there.
Yeah,
and Gav did take 3 points of damage earlier on there.
Yes, he's going to take at least 1 more here, if not more. So it is... Susan's doing what she needs to do. She's aggroing, but it may just not be quick enough, unfortunately.
No, I don't see it happen. Maybe a round timer underneath the timer as well for the future. Just thinking about the future.
I was going to dice in the middle of a table is usually best for turn time.
Well, okay, here we go. So,
blocks.
Yeah, he's blocking with the sidekick, so the sidekick will block that. Most likely be defeated. Go to the prep area.
Blocking everything, which I can't blame him. He's just trying to survive at this point.
Yeah, he's trying to survive. Just keep himself alive as long as possible.
So one of the Sardinas goes back to the field zone, so it wasn't knocked out. Every character goes back on Suzanne's side, so that's a lot of aggro still coming through.
Yep, a lot of aggro coming in next round. If there is a next round.
Yeah, it's hard to say which one was on time. I believe they're actually using a dice which is just blocked by our time score. So they can keep track even if we can't see it, unfortunately.
That's alright. I have a preparation for this. I have a solution for this problem. We're on round 4.
So Suzanne will get one more turn to try and swing through for the game. Dav needs to roll some character faces here. If not, it is possible Suzanne could swing through, as crazy as it sounds.
As crazy as it sounds.
But there's at least one character face there, and he can power that some more. I'd imagine he'd keep a couple of masks back to blink.
He's doing that.
Get a few character faces out there to spin down, and he will probably have the game here. But it's still been 2 good games here.
I believe he's got a psychic die there as well, so he can potentially have a blocking force.
Possibly a couple, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe Dav will probably have this at this point, but it's been 2 good games. A lot of pressure from Suzanne was just countered by that big win turn, as we saw. So, good start to our tournament, I believe.
Yeah, very good start,
Yes.
I think. Who should we get on next? Is there anyone interesting that you saw in the original deck list?
And this was been someone else out. As a good counterpoint, the death list we just got in is another Lantern list, but based around the different types, so that can bring a lot of new things out. Let's try and see what else we have. Possibly Charlotte's list as well, which has the unit card has probably seen the most in the format, which is Blue Eyes White Dragon, then for the Global, which we'll see.
I actually would say I want to get Charlotte on at some point because she's a very skilled player.
To be fair, we have 6 rounds and 8 people playing.
So. She's most likely. To be fair, she's probably going to be in the top table at some point.
Yeah. So we will see people come through then. So we'll see what the results are, and we'll see what we can bring you for next round. He actually has a Lantern in there, so
we could actually see Susan take another loss here if she's very unlucky.
20 life, and on the last turn, it's unlikely. He only has 2 masked characters as it is. It's a lot of masked in the zone still, so that's still 8 damage if he chooses to attack, but
that's still a considerable amount of damage coming her way.
Yeah.
And she can't block all of it.
No.
Alright, so he's wondering what he's wanted to do. He's got all those masks. He has the potential to do a lot of damage. Not enough to kill her, but it might slow her down a little bit.
Given this is his last turn of the game, if he can't kill her this turn, he should hand back, use them to blink Finn's back, use them to survive. So that's what he needs to do to win this match.
He is considering what he's doing.
Hungry.
He's discussing something. Passing of the turn. Yeah. Yep, because Susan's reaching for the dice bag. Yes. There it is. The dice and the used pile go back into the bag. Give it a little bit of a shake.
I believe with that amount of masks, so I don't think Suzanne can death through enough damage on this turn.
He can blink back quite a lot.
Yeah, he can blink back basically her whole field.
But she also gets some masks.
That's a Gorilla Grodd, I see.
That is a Gorilla Grodd.
If we just get up the specific Gorilla Grodd she's using, I believe I know which one it is, but just to double check, it is the Force of Mind.
Force of Mind Gorilla Grodd.
That is one of the most fun ones. It's a huge cost, but when it's active, all your counter dice gain Overcrush, which is not something we have seen yet. So Overcrush means if you're blocked by something with a lower defense in your attack, and you tear everything that you attack, the excess damage will go through to the opponent. And Gorilla Grodd also gives you +1 attack, so that can be a big swing. It can get through walls quite well. Unfortunately, does not get around Blink Global. So she is trying to attack with everything, as she needs to do.
And Gorilla Grodd, he has a 4, 6, and 7 attack. She could do a considerable amount of damage.
Unfortunately, Gorilla Grodd didn't have a character, but
sadly,
she is trying her best. But I believe she's just going to get Blink back.
Writing is on the wall at this point.
Unfortunately, so she put up a good effort, and hopefully we'll hopefully see her again at some point in future rounds.
And there we go.
There we go. She's over. In defeat. So there is our first game of the day. The Lantern Rin versus the Sarvina Adro. What do you want to call it?
Sorry,
Sarvina Adro is what I'd probably call Suzanne's list, as a lack of anything else. So,
to be fair, that was a good match. It was a very good match to see, especially a great opening to the event, I think.
Yes, good close first match. Just came through with Dow in the end, and then the second match, Suzanne putting on possibly a surprising amount of pressure in that 5 minutes she had.
Yeah, she did. She did put a lot of pressure on.
Given the first match lasted 45 minutes, that 5 minutes, a lot of damage happened. So
we're going to be moving on to the next round soon. The players are just packing up right now. But yeah, that should be it. I'm just going to go and make sure our judge is informed about something which he needs to make sure he does. Maybe you can talk people through what Charlotte's list is, because we're going to make Charlotte's up on the next one.
Okay. So if I go back to Charlotte's list.